What's up, boys and girls? Welcome back to New Stuff TV, the untechnical tech channel, and your home for the best infotainment on YouTube, baby. I'm your host, Antoine Too Much Bass in Your Face Richardson, because today we are going to be comparing maybe not six, maybe maybe not even five, 4 generations of Skullcandy Crushers. And the reason why I say 4 and not 6 is because this is the original, this is the OG wireless Skullcandy Crusher. What goes in this spot right here, this blank space, is the original Crusher. And that one is a wired headphone that you had to use batteries for. I do not own those because I'm a Bluetooth man. So I went ahead and jumped in when the Skullcandy Crushers went wireless. But these wireless headphones, the OG wireless Skullcandy headphones, really do not compare to the rest of this bunch because of the way the bass is in this. You know, it's just a different type of bass. It's like there's that gongy sound still. It's like boom, boom. So it's not as refined as the rest of the bunch. So here in generation 1, we have the OG Crushers that are wired with batteries. And then this is the wireless Crusher. And then this is gonna be the Crusher 360, which was a limited edition. Over here, we have the first Crusher ANC. And then we have the Crusher Evo. And then now we have the Crusher ANC 2. Now, when the Crusher Evo came out, I was thinking, okay, this is the next Skullcandy Crusher. And I thought it was supposed to supersede the Crusher ANC, but then they went back and did the ANC 2. Mind you, the Crusher Evo do not have ANC. It is more of an evolution of the original Crusher. So they kind of jumped around a little bit. It's almost like watching a Star Wars series, you know what I mean? You gotta watch the first one that was released, but then there's one that actually happened before that. And to understand the one that came out last year, you have to watch the one that came out 4 years ago to actually understand why they made the one back in the 80s. It's just what it is, man. But we're gonna get to the bottom of this, man, because we got a lot of things to compare. A lot of you would probably have, you know, one or more of these. And you're wondering, since the new Crusher ANC just came out, should I upgrade? Is it worth it? If you're a collector of the Crushers, yes. The answer is yes. Just buy them, okay? It is what it is. But if you're the kind of guy or girl who likes to pick and choose where you spend your pennies and you just want to make sure it's worth it, this is going to help you decide whether it's going to be worth it for you. Now, they're all Skullcandy Crushers, so they all bring the thumpity thump bass to your noggin. But like I said, I got to take the original Skullcandy Crusher wireless out of this equation because of the way the bass is produced, that sensory bass. I just, after hearing the rest of these, it's just not even a comparison, man. I'm sorry. I did that in my last major comparison video. Sorry, I got to hurt your feelings again if you're rocking the OG wireless Crushers. Now, I'm gonna eliminate the Crusher 360 simply because it is a limited edition. If you're still rocking the original or the only Skullcandy Crusher 360, good on you, because these are bangers. But the thing about these is that, one, they are limited edition. And man, okay, I'm just gonna get into it. I'm not gonna eliminate these just yet. I got a few things to say. First, that robotic voice prompt that you get in here is trash, okay? I'm a fan of voice prompts, okay? I like them when I turn on the ANC. I don't always need a voice prompt to tell me ANC on or off, or, you know, something like that, but I do like to hear it when it says power on or power off. I don't like tones when it goes to power off or power on, because tones can mean different things to different hearing profiles and people. So I like to hear power on. I always like the sexy Sony lady voice, right? But they kind of ruin that too. Anyways, this one is super robotic and just straight up trash. So that kind of turns me off right off the bat. But we got to talk about the bass slider because it's the Crusher. The bass slider is not a slider in the traditional sense of the Skullcandy Crusher. These are your indicators right here. You can see them right there. Those are your indicator lights to tell you how much bass crusher bass you got on there. But you have to slide that ear cup up, okay? You got to slide. It's a touch sensory thing, right? And this leaves you with a little less, or I should say a lot less control over how much bass you actually have. You find yourself doing this a lot or this a lot. And then they kind of mix up your ergonomics by leaving you with buttons on the right ear cup. So if you're gonna swipe here and swipe down for bass on and off or up and down, why wouldn't they put a swipe here? That was a big complaint of mine. Like, they kind of mixed and matched the experience there. But as far as sound, they sound really good, even to today's standards with the Skullcandy Crushers. They sound really good. It's just that I feel like you just don't have enough precision on that bass, because it can get wild and crazy, man, in here, but they do sound good. But I will tell you that they also, if you're listening to them at lower volumes, like anything less than 50%, they can get pretty muddy, and that is particularly because of the lack of control on the bass. Now, they do not swivel, but they do fold for easy transporting, and there is no app connectivity. And these probably have one of the lower battery times of the bunch at 29 hours, or up to 29 hours of battery life. So now these are getting eliminated from this little experience that we're going through here. Now, after the Crusher 360, Skullcandy decided to step it up and throw some ANC into these headphones. These are the original Skullcandy Crusher ANC. When these came out, I thought they were fantastic. I thought I was in bass haptics heaven, okay? And I used them for about a week and then they broke, okay? Y'all remember the video where I talked about how they broke? But Skullcandy's clutch, man, they came in clutch. They actually sent out a new pair and they told me about their warranty. You know, I actually purchased them with my own money, but they decided to just send me a new pair. And then, yeah, so that was awesome, but they have a great warranty, man. I think it's like a year or something like that. I don't know, you gotta look it up, but they are very responsive to their customers and they have a fantastic warranty where if something actually did happen, they got your back, man. But I loved them, man. They were pretty lightweight. They weren't as heavy as the Crusher 360, and they went back to the traditional, man, I was so happy when I saw this come back, that bass slider. But if you can see right there where I have the bass slider position, it's almost halfway up, man. And that's about how high you have to drag it until you actually feel that bass, that sensory bass really kick in. So I feel like, you know, you lose a lot of movement there. You got to bring that thing up too high to get that bass to kick in. It does work with the Skullcandy app now. They didn't actually come out with an app until, wait a minute. I don't think they came out with an app until the Crusher Evo, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but this one actually does work with the app now, okay? And then you get that hearing profile. There's not much to the app. I think you have like 3 presets, which would be music, podcast, and something else, okay? Movies, I think. Music, podcast, and movies. But the big thing about the app is the hearing, the customization of the hearing. They use a special third-party system to kind of test your hearing, and that way you can get your personalized hearing profile within the headphones, and it just stays locked in there, and you can toggle it off or on. There's no in between, it's just off and on. They actually sound very, very clean overall, especially once you get that personal sound set up. My only gripe with them was that you do have to push that bass slider up quite a bit to get that bass to kick in. Now, as far as ANC, they're pretty solid with ANC. They do not block out much of the high pitch frequencies, but it does an effective job of pushing things to the background. Where they shine the most is blocking out the lower frequencies, but this is definitely not going to be the strongest ANC you're going to get in any headphone. I think you should look elsewhere if you're looking for like, if the biggest thing you're looking for is ANC, this is not it for you, but it does a fantastic job of producing some good active noise cancellation while maintaining good sound in the music. And of course, you got the extra bass that you can kick in. Now, before I start talking about these Crusher Evos, I have to tell you about how I tried to wipe these things off with some hand sanitizer and alcohol, but it didn't really do that great of a job. You can still see a lot of fingerprints here and smudges and stuff. And that's because predominantly the headphones are black. The Crusher ANC are hard black plastic, and the Crusher Evo and the Crusher ANC 2 are plastic, but they have this soft touch coating on there. And because they're black, they're gonna show a lot of smudges and fingerprints and stuff like that. And I think that's just because they don't offer that many colorways. When we get into colorways, I remember that the Crusher ANC came in an all black design, which was pretty stealthy, but I actually preferred this black and tan right here, or black and beige, whatever you want to call it. And the Crusher Evo came in a black on black, as well as this black on gray right here. And then now we have the ANC2 coming in only with just black on black. And that's great, but when I see my crushers right here, my Crusher wireless, I don't have any smudges on here. Yes, they can get dirty, but if you think about it, there's no smudges, you know? So I just wish that they would offer different colorways when it comes to headphones, like in general. But Skullcandy, for real, man, they usually just offer only one main color of the crushers, if not two, and it's still involving a lot of black, which then shows a lot of smudges. That was just a little side note because it angers me sometimes when I try to wipe my stuff clean and it doesn't come clean. Another thing that angers me, and this is where we get into the Crusher Evo, is that voice prompt, man. When you turn these things on, that robotic voice prompt, it's just horrendous. And I wish they would have improved it here because it's in the Crusher ANC and it's in the Skullcandy Crusher 360 and the Crusher Wireless. They did not improve it here either. It's still that raggedy lady's voice. I just got to get my anger issues out. But let's talk about this, man. You're getting 40 hours of battery life. They actually stepped up the game from the, 24 hours of battery life with the Crusher ANC. So they definitely added some extra battery life on here, and I'm here for it because that just means more party time. These are actually custom ear cups. I ordered these from Brainwaves off Amazon. They actually came with black ear cups, or cushions, I should say. But I wanted the gray one so it could match the headband that it actually came with, and this is why I have this colorway. But everything about these headphones is traditional Skullcandy design. These do not work with the brand new Skullcandy IQ app that they developed for the Skullcandy Crusher ANC 2. These are stuck with the Skullcandy app, which is a great app, but it doesn't give you much. All it does is let you use the personalized sound, and it gives you the option for 3 different presets. But as you can see here, they decided to stick with the infamous bass slider, because when you see that slider, you know what's up. And notice where I have it here in comparison to this. Let me put the Crusher. Let me just match them up there for you. Can you see where I have, oh, come on. Can you see where I have the Crusher Evo's bass slider in comparison to where I have the Crusher ANC? You know, it feels like you have to turn up the ANC, the Crusher ANC bass slider a little bit more to get the same amount of thump that you would get out of the Evos. And that's why I prefer the Evos over the Crusher ANC. The sound is nice and clear. I believe they definitely refined the sound signature of the Crusher Evo over all the rest of them behind it. It sounds so much cleaner, and you can just listen to these for any type of music, I would say. But I mean, it's just suitable for all kinds of uses versus just bass music. But when it comes to adding that extra bass in there, you definitely get a more controlled bass, especially since the bass slider is actually engaged very early on in the movement, and you get that bright, clean sound signature, and I just love it. And now let's get to the Crusher ANC 2. I would like to start off with saying they have a better voice prompt. And it's good because you get voice prompts all throughout the usage of these headphones, because you have voice commands. They tell you when the ANC is on or off, or the ambient sound is on and off. Like, you get a lot of voice prompts, so I'm glad they really did improve it. It's not like Sony sexy lady voice prompts, but it's good. I can listen to it, so I'm happy about that. You see the smile on my face? It's good stuff right here. Within that Skullcandy IQ app, you are gonna find what I think is probably the most robust app I've seen in a while. I mean, they give you everything inside of these headphones, lots and lots of options. We're talking about button customization to do what you want to do with the bass controller or the Crusher controller, the play and pause button, the volume up and down. Like, who gives you control over this stuff? Not a lot of companies are doing that. I can't really think of any that give you that much control over how you use your buttons on your headphones. They still give you those 3 default sound profiles, but they also give you your sound customization through their sound test. And this is definitely the most robust and detailed sound test I've ever taken. You got to try that one out for yourself. They're also giving you bass levels like 25%, 50%, 75, 80, 100. Like, you actually see it moving in real time inside of the app. And they also throw in multi-point. Now, I can't vouch for any of these other Crushers. Man, for some reason, I could have swore that the Crusher Evo had multi-point. It might not. I don't see it advertised really, but They are throwing it in your face that these actually have multi-point, the Crusher ANC 2. They literally threw in everything that people ask for when it comes to headphones, including the extra bass. The Crusher is what they call it. So right here is where you actually control that, and they decide to change things up once again. It is not a swipe on the ear cup. It is not a bass slider. It is a bass roller. That's what I'm gonna call it. But you can also push it in and tap. So you can actually just kind of roll and just kind of fine tune your bass if you want to. It does go in different levels, like 10%, 20, 30, 40, but you can also press it to kind of skip to 25, 50, and 75% if you want to as well, just for a quick bass action. In my personal experience, these have actually given me a more open sound experience when I'm listening to the Crusher ANC 2. They just sound more open than all the previous versions of the Crusher series. Once you pair that up with all the EQ options and the personal sound options, I'm gonna go ahead and comfortably say that these are the best sounding of the Crusher series. These sound better than all of the other ones. I will say it again, these are the best sounding versions of the Crushers you can find on the market. These are also the loudest of the Crusher series. Like these are like damn loud. Like when you turn them up all the way, you will say damn and pull the ear cup away from your ear. But at 50% is where, you know, like you can get full sound. At 50%, they are traditionally louder than what you would get with the Skullcandy Crusher Evo. So at 50%, these are still kind of low. The Crusher Evo is, but at 50%, the Crusher ANC 2, they are right there. You probably should not turn them up any higher than 50% because you'll be damaging your hearing. And then when you add in that Crusher bass, it doesn't get super muddy at 50% or the lower volumes. I think they've just done a really good job of fine tuning how the addition of bass is done with inside of these headphones. But now we got to compare them to the Crusher ANC 2 for a direct comparison of their two ANC headphones. I will tell you that sound signature wise, well, I've already talked about that. These just sound better, okay? And you don't have to, you know, turn them halfway up to get all the bass. Like the bass is there. You don't, these actually, like I said, you got to turn up the bass slider almost halfway in order to get that bass to kick. Not the case with the ANC 2. But since they're ANC, how does that work out? The ANC is slightly improved with the low frequencies on the ANC 2, whereas on the high frequencies, I think they pretty much camp out in the same area as far as what they block out. They both block out a decent amount of noise. Once again, neither one of these are going to be the strongest ANC you're going to find on the market, but that's not really why you buy a Skullcandy Crusher. It's for the bass, you know what I'm saying? And so when you talk about that bass experience, here we are. And then I mentioned that they've increased the battery life of the Evo's 40 hours to up to 50 hours worth of battery playtime on these Crusher ANC 2s. That's phenomenal because these are also the most comfortable of the Crusher bunch. They don't have as much clamping force, which is fine, but the thing that gets me is the ear cup design. It's a totally redesigned ear cup. I want to show you the Crusher Evo and the Crusher ANC. They both have the same ear cup, okay? It's kind of a small opening in the inside, and yeah, that's just for tight ears, and it causes a lot of warmth and stuff like that, and possibly some discomfort for a lot of people. But when you compare the Crusher ANC to the Crusher ANC 2, you can see that not only is there a bigger OD, outer diameter, for the ear pad, but you also get a slightly larger ID, which is the inside dimension of that ear pad as well. And it's a different type of material. I don't know, like that's memory foam, and you see how slow it comes up, and it is a soft material that they use, but this comes up a little bit slower and is definitely feeling a little bit softer, man. So this just provides me a lot of comfort. So with the new design of the Crusher ANC 2, you can see that things are just better. They've taken everything back to the lab, tore it down, redesigned it almost from the ground up, gave you a brand new app with everything under the kitchen sink, and now we have the Crusher ANC 2. Now, I'm not gonna declare a winner here because it's to each is their own. Whatever you want is what you want, right? But if I were going to buy a set of headphones today and I was looking for the Crusher series, these would be the ones I picked up. And my reasoning behind that is because you're gonna get more technology, a better sounding headphone overall, and a lot more comfort while you're wearing them for up to 50 hours. Now, I'm not an expert in this kind of stuff, but what I do know is I'm a Crusher fanboy, and I've had a great time talking about these 5 generations of Skullcandy Crushers. I know there's 6, but I don't have that first pair. 5 generations of or 6 generations at this point of Skullcandy Crusher headphones, and I'm here for it. I can't wait to see the 7th generation, but until that happens, I'm gonna go ahead and just keep on enjoying these Crusher ANC 2s. Y'all stay good to each other, and I'll see you when I see you.